Right, so if you set up your code editor, in my terminal over here, what I'm going to first do is check the Node version. If you haven't got Node.js installed on your machine, then I would advise to download that on nodejs.org. But what we want to do is check the Node version, so it will be node-v to check the version. And at the minute we're on Node version 14. We want to change this to Node version 18. So I have a package called nvm. Again, you need to download that and install it on your machine. So nvm use, and I'm just going to type in 18 for version 18. So now we switched that, we can just do node v again, and we're on Node version 18. So let's clear that first of all. What we want to do next is we need to install the Gatsby CLI. So the way to do that is install it on your machine globally. So that would be npm i-g, and then it will be gatsby-CLI. I already have this installed. So if you install this, if you've never used Gatsby before, I'm going to delete that, and we are going to create a new instance or a new project with Gatsby. So let me just quickly expand my code editor, and I'm going to type in the command. So it'll be Gatsby space new, and then the site name. So I'm just going to call this Pokedex, like so, and press enter. And now what will happen is Gatsby will install all of the modules and node modules that we need, and it will set up the project for us. So now that is installed, what I want to do is if I expand this Pokedex, you can see a list of all these files in here. What I want to do is move them out into the higher folder, and then we can delete this Pokedex one because we don't need that. And now if we go through the file structure, we have a source folder which has components, images, pages, templates as well. So what I want to do is I want to npm start this first of all. So let's run this now. So it'll be npm start, press enter. So now what's happening is it's going to run Gatsby develop. And again, I have my final build already open. So I want to create a new port this time. This port will be 3001. What this will also show is a graphical instance because we have a GraphQL endpoint here. So we'll look at that later on, but let's open this first of all. And if we go to the browser, let's close this down. And here we have the final build, and let's check the template out. So now you can see it says, welcome to Gatsby. You can go to a tutorial, which I've clicked on, and you can essentially walk through it, but we'll go through it ourselves. So let's go back onto the local host. Here we have some examples of websites. So again, in your own time, you can check this out. We have tons of examples here. So all I want to do now is remove this and get a clean fresh project set up. So let's go back into the code. We have the components, we have the images, we have the pages and the templates. But if you go down here, you can see we have gatsby-ssr.js. So let's go into this one. Now here it's got commented out code which says implement Gatsby's server-side rendering APIs in this file. So anything you want server-side, we can add it onto here. In this video, we won't be doing any server-side rendering because this is a basics course, but essentially it's just fetching the data on the server side. So it gives you that option as well. Again, if we go into Gatsby-node.js this time, this is essentially a node API in the file. So we also have a backend where we can create pages and we can render the relevant path. So in this case, it's /using DSG, which is a feature from Gatsby, which is deferred static generation. Again, that is in the templates folder in here, but in this build, we won't be covering that as it's an advanced feature. What we're going to be covering is the basics. So export.create pages, which is an async function. We're destructuring the actions from there and getting the create page functionality. But if we want to go into this further, you've got this URL over here available on the action. So let's close this one down. The Gatsby config, which is quite important for us because this will configure your site. So configure your Gatsby site with this file. So again, we have site metadata, title, description, author, and so on. And plugins is what we are going to be working with. There's a plugins marketplace, which I mentioned earlier on. We will be exploring that further. And then we also have the Gatsby browser.js for any browser APIs. Again, we won't be using this functionality in this build. So what we're going to be doing is ignoring these files over here, other than the Gatsby config, which is quite important for us. So we also have a prettier installed as well, and a git ignore, which is common in React frameworks. Again, if we go into templates and in Gatsby Node.js, we had this component called require.resolve. In the templates, we are using dsg.js. So this template here is the structure or the HTML that gets rendered out when we create the page in the Gatsby Node.js. So Again, hello from DSG page, and we can navigate to this if we go to / using DSG. So let's copy this path here and go into the browser, paste that in and press enter. And now you can see this page gets rendered in here, which is the one in the templates folder. So let's go back into the home page and quickly just go over the other one. So we have the pages, we have a 404 index.js, a page 2 using SSR, and we also have a using types. You can delete this, but in our case, we are using TypeScript, so we will change everything across from JS to TSX. We have images, which get rendered using Gatsby image, and we also have our components in here. So what we'll do next is we'll get started with the build.